Hello, everybody. This is Phil Chenevert, and I'm making a video. I don't know how to do it otherwise except to use Zoom. So I'm doing it. Hello, hello. Um, this is a informational video uh, about the fact that I attended a Catholic minor seminary for 6 years, intending to be a priest. I was talking to somebody, one of my children, and they mentioned that, and they said, "How'd that work out?" And I said, "Well, obviously it. I left because I got married and had children." Um, oh yeah, I said, "That's right." So a lot of people don't know what a seminary is. They don't really have minor seminaries anymore. Meaning, when I was 13, 12 actually, I decided I think I want to be a priest. Yeah, and so I told my mama and daddy, and they said, "Oh, okay." They contacted somebody, and I got on the list. And um, so for my high school, I attended St. Joseph's Seminary, and that's where I went to high school. Okay, so for those of you that may not know about it, a seminary is a place where the Catholic Church developed this, well, back in the 16th century after the Council of Trent to realize that they had to educate priests. Priests weren't you get ordained apparently, and you didn't have to know too much, so it was um, embarrassing to have these people not knowing anything. So they established minor seminaries to nourish the young men that might feel they have a vocation. A vocation is a calling, meaning you feel you're called. It could be a vocation to the religious life, meaning to be a sister or a nun or a brother or a monk or a priest. It's a calling. But then sometimes we think we have a calling, and no, it turns out we don't. So they established this for young men to go off and to be nourished like plants. You take care of them before you put them out. Whoops, pardon me. When it's cold, you keep them inside. You give them good food. You educate them, and then you put them out. Well, you don't educate the plants, but you put them out. So it's a seminary. It's to nourish the moral and physical and intellectual. And that's my cat. Come on, buddy. Um, that's my baby. Okay, so that's what a seminary was meant to be. It was meant to be so that there would be at least the basis of education and moral guidance and development. So when I was about 12 or 13, let me see if I can share my screen here. Share screen, share screen. Okay, here I am. This is Phil. This is me. Oh, by the way, I am 83 years old. It's March of 2023 right now. No, 2024. I was born in 1940. So here I am. Look at that dapper person sitting there. I mean, look at the bow tie and the suede. I think we call those suede, some type of buck shoes. And I was hippy dippy going to a dance. It was seventh or eighth grade. But in the eighth grade, I decided I wanted to be a priest. I wanted to try for it. So I got on the list, and I'm with lots of other boys. At the time in New Orleans, where I grew up, um, Catholicism was just booming. I mean, they had the parochial school that I went to was just they hundreds and hundreds of young Catholic children going there, and I had fun there too. Um, so lots of boys wanted to be priests. They had a lot of priests. Every parish in the diocese of New Orleans probably had, I don't know, two priests, maybe three priests, lots of priests. Nowadays, that's not the fact anymore. Nowadays, one priest may have two parishes because there's just a lack of vocations. Okay, so we went off. There was like 80, 85 of us that arrived that fall at 13 years old. We were just excited. We got dropped off at the seminary. Let me see if I can. Now, this is the picture of St. Joseph's Abbey. It's a Benedictine monastery in Covington, Louisiana, and they had the agreement with the bishop to to educate. So this is the church they built. It's beautiful church. And this was the grounds where I was. It's like I say, it's a monastery. It's off in the woods of Covington. It was just us guys. That's all. Beautiful though. I encourage you. If you haven't seen the paintings, they're beautiful. Okay. Oh, here's Lil Phil. Lil Phil. You see those pants with the cup? I think I still got those. I'm a lot heavier than I used to be, but that's me. Probably the first year that I showed up, somebody took my picture. You can see how eager I was to learn stuff. This is of course, the key row symbol. This was the gymnasium right here. This is the refectory. I'll show you more pictures of what we did. What did we do there? Okay, somebody sent me I asked one of the guys I went to school with, and they sent me a list. We got up at 5:30 in the morning. Um, oh, that's me. We lived in a dormitory. Of course, it was packed because there was hundreds of boys there at the time, young men, and they were stressed to find places of where to put us all. Because even just one class coming in of 13, 14-year-old is of like 86, and you've got lots of others there already. So they cleaned out this big area in the middle of the monastery where they made a huge dormitories that up second story and third story. And they bought these World War II surplus bunks that they had, metal bunks that they could stack. And we stacked up three high. And I think I I got the top bunk first, and then I'll move to the second bunk, which isn't very good, by the way, if you're below a bedwetter. I'll tell you, that was another story. That was an interesting time. But so we slept in these things with the mattresses about that thick with these were all used equipment that they'd stack up there, but we didn't care. We were young. And they'd come through at 5:30 in the morning and they would ring a bell, ding, ding, ding. We got up in silence. It was all silence. Had to get up, get your clothes on, go down to the bathroom. We didn't call it the bathroom, we called it a Jake's, by the way. And I found out that's a Bible name, biblical. Went to the Jake's, brushed our teeth, combed our hair, put our cassocks on. This cassock, if you're looking at this picture, was made by my mother lovingly. She was a great seamstress. Unfortunately, she put about 632 buttons right down the middle of that sucker. And to take it off and put it on was was a lot of buttons. I was always late. I was always behind. So that's me. This is a bigger picture of part of the grounds. Move, buddy. So the seminary was where we went to study mostly. We get up at about 5:30, we head over to church, we'd have mass about 6:30, whatever. Maybe we would go over to the refectory and eat. I'll give you a picture. That's the altar. That's where it used to be. They moved it. This was part of the grounds. They had a little lake there that was dug by the monks with a wheelbarrow, and a shovel. Lake Moore. There's this couple of my classmates messing around in the study hall. This is some seminarians, me and them. I'm looking out the window. They're running to eat. It's either supper or breakfast or whatever, but this was our refectory. We had six to a table, and we ate a lot of grits, let me tell you. I love grits now. I still do. But we ate a lot of grits because it's hard to fill up young guys. And they did the best they could with what they had. We had a lot of government surplus peanut butter. They come in big containers, that big, huge things. I loved it too. The diet we had peanut butter was exciting because we also had zips. The monks raised some sugarcane and they crushed it themselves and made syrup. So we got the syrup and the peanut. Oh, it was wonderful. I think zips, well, whatever. They insist, the motto was a sound mind and a sound body. So they made us all play sports, even though I was not athletic at all. Um, Here we are, somebody's playing football. We had flag ball. We didn't hurt ourselves. Uh, every month or month and a half, or maybe 2 months, they would allow the parents to come visit. So my parents, this is my mother, my dad, and my sister, would drive up from New Orleans to Covington, and they would have a picnic. Oh, it was wonderful. My mama would cook big roast and all the stuff that I liked. It was really a lot of fun. It was usually cold. Here they are drinking coffee. Um, or football. These are some of my classmates. And as you can see, we're just normal guys. We're probably third year there, meaning juniors, sophomores or juniors. Um, and whatever. Part of our duties, of course, was to clean the grounds. We were expected to keep the thing neat. We did the grass cutting and we picked up trash. This was a little building where we would put on plays. We put on quite a few plays. This was Abbot David. When I was there, uh, Abbot Columban died, and a new abbot was elected. Well, the way monks work is they elect an abbot, and he was the new monk, the new abbot, the new abbot. The abbot is the guy in charge. This is me sitting there with my bongo drums and reading some book, probably Jack Kerouac or something. I don't know. Look at the hair. Oh my gosh. Um, this is me again. We would wear they were called cassocks, the black long black things with a collar, and the thing on top of there is a surplice. Um, for lots of reasons, they called it a surplice. That's what we wear during church if we were serving or singing or something. Of course, we'd hang around the snack bar. There's a little snack bar here where we could buy Cokes and peanut stuff like that. Obviously, we're all dressed up, so something was going on. But like I say, we had a lot of fun. I did. This is the chemistry lab. They tried to teach us chemistry. Um, uh, this was one of our study halls. That's a monk right there. Um, and in fact, left which he's also passed away. But we had a lot of I had a lot of fun. They did their very best to educate us. So after we ate breakfast, we would have a short break, maybe about 30, 45 minutes. This is where if we set traps to catch squirrels in the forest, we'd run out and check our traps to see if we caught anything. And then we run back and brush our teeth and get our cassocks on and go to class. We had 5 classes, one after another, of usually Latin, English, geometry, the regular high school stuff. Uh, these are people just walking around. That's a refectory. Over here, if you can see my cursor, this is where the monks ate on this side, the seminarians ate on that side, and the middle was where they cooked. And we never appreciated the nuns. The nuns got up 2 hours before us they lived, I don't know, they had their own monastery. Oh, it was some miles away where they would come over and cook for us. Wonderful people. I never appreciated them. This is me in the study hall. We had these two to a desk with big lids on them, and believe me, they expected us to study. We would have classes until 5 classes. We'd have a lunch. We'd have a break in the afternoon. We'd have another study hall, what they call it, in the afternoon. Have another break, and then at night after supper, we worked straight through. We'd come back and be in a study hall, all in silence. I mean, not when we're outside, of course. Here we are heading over to go munchy down on some more grits. Mm-mm. God love them grits. Um, More football. These are some of the monks. The monks, of course, wear the robes. They have the cowls. They're Benedictines, and the cowls that put their head in the cold. When it gets cold, they pull it up. Heading over to the church. This is all the monastery on this side. Their classrooms were over here. Of course, somebody had to cut the hair, and we'd give them 25 cents, get a haircut, and they did a pretty good job. Here they are. This is our study hall. Um, we were expected to learn our stuff. That's Sylvester. He was funny. In the back here, you can see it was built by the monks. The walkways between the monastery and the church, covered walkways. Once a year, they take us out to Fontainebleau State Park. Big party. Took us out. They put us in these back of a big cattle car, a truck. We'd all just stand up and hold on, and they'd drive us out there. We had fun. We had so food, not much, but we had some food. We had beer. Those that smoked could smoke at the time. Remember, this was the 50s. Everybody smoked. I didn't, but we sang songs. We had skits. We did a lot of fun things. Also, once a year on Thanksgiving, we had what's known as a bonfire. Big deal. This was a big deal. We would collect wood for weeks and weeks, probably months, to build a great big bonfire. And we'd also have skits and have lots of fun and singing. And well, we didn't dance, but we had lots of singing. This is again those walkways that they had built to go from the monastery to the church. Because the monks would go like 5 or 6 times a day. They would sing matins, and they would do the psaltery. They would sing the psalms. Um, they would go all during the day. You'd hear their bells constantly. Here we are back getting a haircut. Oops. You can see this is a one of the retreats. We had many retreats that were silent. All of these holy guys were walking around thinking, contemplating, whereby we would they were retreats, like 3 days retreats, maybe 4 day retreats, where you were expected to pray, think, read, uh, go to a lot of lectures on by people who would come in and motivate us to get holy. And we tried. We really tried to be holy. Here's another picture of my family out there bringing me lovely food. That's my sister Ursula, Patricia, my brother Martin, and that's his, well, that's his fiance at the time. My mom and my dad, they brought tons of food. This is me. I took up photography and I did a lot of pictures. I was probably a senior at this time. That's me. This is me, but my dad. This is just a picture of where we one of the halls where we had classes. It's some of the monks and Archbishop, um, oh gee, Pisakiewicz, Bishop Pisakiewicz. I remember that name. Gee, this is just a trick photo. Oh, these are our photos. Okay, um, that's it, folks. I'm gonna stop sharing. Go back to me. Boy, this is a long time, but I want to tell you, the seminary was a place of formation where we had lectures on purity, on obedience, on chastity, on being removed from the world. The idea was we weren't going to be tempted by the world, or at least slow down. And it did a pretty good job. It turned out lots of us with, I think, pretty good morals. And speaking of which, you hear about lately in the last 10 years, well, maybe 12 years, the priests molesting boys and girls and children. I don't know what they did. Um, once again, I spent many years there. I didn't see anything like that. That was never a hint of that I saw. Obviously, it went on, and there were some that slipped by, because the monks were always watching to see and suggest that maybe you don't have a vocation. Uh, many boys left. I would say, uh, 9 out of 10 would leave without being ordained finally. Of course, after you finish minor seminary, there's a major seminary, which is another 6 years of study, philosophy, and 4 years of theology. And so hopefully by that time they would have weeded out the bad guys. But obviously it didn't work all the time. But for me, I didn't see nothing. Of course, I was pretty oblivious to everything. All I was interested in doing was reading and I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the guys. I still do. So this is Phil Chenevert. I went to a Catholic minor seminary for 6 years, from 1954 to 1960. And I enjoyed it. I don't, and I decided to leave after that because I didn't have a vocation. I realized, no, I don't think I do. But while I was there, I received a wonderful education. I was educated morally. I think I received a lot of Bible. I mean, we spent a lot of time learning all that stuff, and I'm very appreciative of that. I really am, and so is my cat. So, yes, they don't have them anymore, I don't think, because they realized it was a waste of time. Nowadays, if a boy, they wait until you got to finish high school. And then if you decide you might have a vocation, then they have what they call a college seminary where you can go to college and also be in that environment too. They have a lot of those. And monasteries, if you want to be a monk, I, I guarantee you I bet you there's 50 or maybe 45 or 50 monasteries in the United States in 2024 right now. All kind of monks, the Trappists, the Benedictines, many, many, many types of monks right now, and nuns. So, hey, still going on, folks. Thank you all very much. I just want to put that out there for no particular reason except that you may not know what a seminary was. It was good. I enjoyed it. Nobody bothered me. I mean, they harassed me all the time about because I couldn't learn Latin. You got 6 years of Latin, six, count them, six, and 2 years of Greek. But um, I I managed to fight them all the way. Just I have ADHD. I didn't know it then. Thank you guys and the girls. This is it. Stop video. And how do I do that?